June TBR. Hey, June TBR. Does that mean that I will read them? We don't know. We don't know. Hello book reading friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Mel and today I bring you all the books I want to read in June, also known as my June TBR. So every month I compile a list of books that I want to read in that given month, whether that's 8 books, 10 books, 12 books, however I'm feeling like putting on my TBR. This month I'm gonna talk about the 12 books that I really want to get to this month. Does that mean that I will get to every single one of them? Maybe, maybe not. I am a mood reader, so this is primarily a guide for me in case I ever don't know what to reach for. I just reach for something in my TBR. I have some sequels, I have some first book in series, I have some standalones, I've got some sci-fi, fantasy, romance, contemporary. I have a bit of everything and I feel very confident primarily because a lot of these are books within series that I just really want to continue. Keep your fingers crossed for me because maybe, just maybe June will be the month. Maybe. I'm holding out hope. I am manifesting it for myself right here, right now. Maybe this will be the month. And before I jump in and just rave and talk about all of the books that I want to read this month, the 12 books, I do need to give a massive shout out to the sponsor of today's video, Book of the Month. If you are not familiar with Book of the Month, first of all, where have you been? It's literally one of my, if not my favorite book box service because they really go all out for readers in a way where it's even easier for you to find new releases at a better price. Every month they set out on this amazing mission of promoting new and emerging authors and help readers discover books that they love. Their team is also incredible because they literally sift through hundreds of books to give readers their choice from a curated selection of new and early release titles so you can spend more time reading and less time researching, which I personally really love because finding new release titles can sometimes be super time consuming and there's just so many books coming out. I just sometimes get overwhelmed and I just don't know what to pick up. So this kind of cuts that process of you looking for new things to read because they just hand them to you super easily. And before I jump into this month's selection, Book of the Month is also super cool in the sense that you can skip any month, anytime, and you will not be charged for that month's fee. So you can definitely take charge of your own box and choose and pause and resume whenever you want, which is also really, really nice. Now, you guys know I love Book of the Month. I have been subscribed to Book of the Month for months now. Even if I work with them, I still have my subscription active because new hardcover fiction can range anywhere between $25 to $35. And with Book of the Month, you can get your books for $14.99, which is honestly a steal for new release fiction. For this book selection, you guys, I know I always say, oh my god, these books look amazing, but they really killed it for June. These are the books for June. And yes, you may spot a few anticipated releases that a lot of people have, from Nicola Yoon to Taylor Jenkins Reid to Alex Michaelides. It's just a bunch of awesomeness that I just can't wait to gush about these books, so let's get into it. First up, we have Instructions for Dancing by Nicola Yoon. This is Nicola Yoon's newest release, and this one follows Evie, who is a skeptic in love. She doesn't believe in any of it, but suddenly she starts getting these weird visions where she can predict how and when a person's relationship starts and ends. And the next one is Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and this one follows a group of 4 siblings who throw an epic party during the summer, except that their lives will now change over the course of 24 hours. Next up, we have The Maidens by Alex Michaelides, and this one is a twisted psychological thriller that weaves together suspense, Greek mythology, murder, and obsession. It gives me dark academic vibes. Next up, we have Sky Falling by Mia Mackenzie, and this one is said to be a probing examination of race, family, love, community, and queerness about a woman who is used to running from every relationship possible except this one that she cannot run away from. And the last one is Half Sick of Shadows by Laura Sebastian, and this is a fantasy pick, and it's also Arthurian mythology. And this is a bold feminist reimagining of The Lady of Shalott, where the story of Camelot will be hers. So now that I am surrounded by beautiful picks and beautiful books, if you are interested in signing up for Book of the Month, I will leave my link down below as well as my code Mel Reads so that you can get your first book for $9.99. So yes, thank you so much to Book of the Month for sponsoring this video. I love you guys to the moon and back. You guys are literally incredible. And let's get right started with today's video. All right, let us start with the books that I plan to read this month. Aside from the books that I really want to squeeze in, which are The Maidens, Instructions for Dancing, and Malibu Rising, we shall see what happens and if I'm able to squeeze everything in. But the first few books that I'm going to be talking about are Patreon book club picks. So first book that we're going to be reading for that is Lost in the Neverwoods by Aiden Thomas. Thomas. I am so excited for this. We originally ran this poll for the month of May. It didn't win, so we rolled it over for June, and it finally won. So I can finally read Lost in the Neverwoods by Aiden Thomas. And this one is a Peter Pan retelling, which sounds incredible because we follow Wendy, who way back when went missing in the woods with her brothers, and she came back unscathed, except that her brothers didn't. And now that kids are disappearing again, people start questioning that original disappearance of Wendy and her brothers, and she will need to embark on this journey going into the woods to figure out exactly what happened in there and to see how exactly it is connected with the kids that are now disappearing as well. It does sound like a thrilling magical realism fantasy situation. I think I might start the month with this one just because I've been anticipating this for months. It's one of my most anticipated releases of this year. But the second book club pick that we have is Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. This is like so appealing to me, and I am so late to the party. I have arrived, people. And the cat's line for this literally is, once upon a time, an angel and a devil fell in love. It did not end well. The synopsis for this is also really vague. I do know this is set in Prague and we follow an art student, and I believe she meets this otherworldly creature. I don't know if an angel or a demon, whichever of the two, and she gets tangled in this otherworldly war. It's super vague, don't know anything about this, and I am glad every time that I go into a fantasy or sci-fi not knowing anything about it. It really does elevate the experience, so I am just very excited to jump into this one. And the last book club pick also for my Patreon is for the Le Fantasma book club that I run with Liv from Olivia Rita Latte over on Patreon, and we decided to pick a book that was, yes, fantasy, but more along the lines of urban fantasy that had LGBT rep, and so it just worked out perfectly with what we like and what we thought people also would like, besides the fact that we also felt like a lot of people own this book because it was in a lot of book boxes, or a lot of people just bought it, but a lot of them didn't end up reading, and that is A Dark and Hollow Star by Ashley Shuttleworth. I know a lot of people don't like stories about the Fae. I personally love them, so this very much aligns with what I also enjoy reading. And the tagline for this says, nothing is more dangerous than a fairy tale. See the pun? See the smartness? It's just so smart. Choose your player. The Ironborn half-fae, outcast of a royal fae family, a tempestuous fury exiled to Earth from the immortal realm and hell-bent on revenge, a dutiful fae prince determined to earn his place on the throne, or the prince's brooding guardian burdened with a terrible secret. I really don't want to know anything else about this. I'm not quite sure if this will be a competition setting or if this will be more of like a murder mystery set. I really don't know. Just want to jump into it kind of blind and just let it surprise me because I've heard nobody talk about this. And Liv and I are hosting Patreon sprints as well. So knock out this book and just to read and just spend time with our Patreons who are a part of the book clubs. Another Laini Taylor book that I am reading in the month of June. Yes, apparently it's being reigned by Laini Taylor, and that is Muse of Nightmares, which is the second book in the Strange the Dreamer duology. Now, I don't think I'll be reading this copy because I did manage to find a super cheap matching copy to the UK hardback, so I am gonna wait a little bit for that to get here. All I can say is that Strange the Dreamer follows Laszlo Strange, who is a librarian, and he dreams of the city of Weep. That is not the name of the city, but that is the name given to the city, given that everybody has forgotten about it. Nobody knows its history, nobody knows its name, nobody knows exactly what went down in there, but Laszlo keeps dreaming about it, and so he one day gets the opportunity to embark on this journey and to travel to said city, and he will seize that opportunity and along the way get all of his questions answered while still getting even more questions that need answers. And it has very lyrical writing. It was very beautiful. I cried, I laughed. It was just such a perfect read in my opinion, so I am excited to go into Muse of Nightmares. Another book that I will also be reading in the month of June is a book that I have an arc of, so I technically am a little bit late to the party to read this because I haven't read it yet, but I'm also not necessarily late because it comes out June 1st, which is tomorrow, so I don't know what or how I'm gonna do things. I just know I'm reading it, and that is One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. I did read Red, White, and Royal Blue last year, absolutely loved it, and One Last Stop is a sapphic romance, and it is contemporary / magical realism. In this one, we follow August, who is a skeptic. She does not believe in magic, she does not believe in love or in happy endings, and she is also very methodical given those circumstances. She takes the subway to work every single day, takes the same route, does not change her routine, and because of that, she ends up meeting Jane, dazzling, charming, impossible Jane, and they start developing this friendship through those commutes from and to work. And one day, everything takes a turn once August realizes that she is actually actually a misplaced human, sapient person, girl from the 1970s, and they will embark on this journey against time to try and get her back to where she belongs. Red, White, and Royal Blue was nowhere near as similar as this. It was not magical realism, but I have yet to hear a single bad thing about One Last Stop, so I am definitely excited to jump into this one. It's been a long time coming. I do think I might get the physical because last time around I read Red, White, and Royal Blue as an ebook, and still to this day I wish I would have read a physical so that I could annotate because it was beautiful. So I think this time around I'm gonna play it smart, not hard. When I tell you guys I have never been as excited for a reread as I am for this, I'm not kidding. It's time. It is freaking time to jump back into the Riordanverse. I read Percy Jackson when I was so young. I don't even know how old I was. As you can see, I have like the movie tie-in edition. So whenever the movie came out, that is when I read this. Just don't know the year. I bought this in Borders. Every time I talk about this copy, I always have to highlight the fact that I bought it from Borders. That's how you know this book is old. I mean, besides the fact that it just looks old, but I am so excited to go back into the Percy Jackson and the Olympians world. I've been wanting to make this reread happen for months, and I've been saying it's not time, it's not the time, Mel. Keep pushing it off, keep pushing it off. I'm not doing it anymore because I never finished the Heroes of Olympus series, and I need to finish it this year. In this one, we obviously follow Percy Jackson, and I will say the synopsis of this, even though I think this needs no introduction, but we do follow Percy Jackson, who is about to get kicked out of boarding school yet again, and everything seems to be going against him. He is very different from the kids around him, and one day Zeus's lightning bolt is stolen. And once Percy finds out that he is actually a demigod, he is in a race against time because he is the one being blamed for this crime, and he will go on this adventure with some of his friends to try and find Zeus's lightning bolt and just literally save the world and the people around him. And so I am really excited for this. I miss Percy and the crew so much. Oh my god, this copy is stiff as all hell. It's gonna be a great time. If you guys watched my April wrap up, you'd know how well I voted with my girl Emily Henry and People We Meet on Vacation. 5 out of 5 stars. Absolutely loved it. Gotta rave about it. I'm gonna read Bitch Read this month because it's the perfect time of year to do so. And I have heard very mixed reviews about Beach Read because it is pitched as a romance, or people have been selling it as a romance, but it's apparently more than a romance. And that's what I like about the contemporary side of romance, I guess. The fact that it's a well balance of family dynamics and inner struggle and friendship or broken relationships, and then finding love and coming to terms with your feelings for someone. I love all of that. In this one, we follow Augustus and January. Apparently, we have a lot of month names within these books, but we have Augustus and January, who are both best-selling authors, but they write completely opposite genres. Whilst one of them writes literary fiction, the other one writes romance, and whilst one writes happy endings, the other one kills off all of his main characters. The only thing is that now they both have writer's block, and they find themselves in neighboring beach houses where they will challenge each other to switch genres and potentially get out of that writer's block that they both are going through. Now again, what I've heard about this book that people don't seem to like is the fact that it does have a lot of familial dynamics, and it is a bit sadder than they expected because they were expecting like a full-blown romance. I feel like I'll vibe with that. I feel like that is what I enjoy. So I'm going into this not necessarily with high hopes, but definitely the right amount of hope. Does that make sense? I am so excited about this next read. It's Yolk by Mary H.K. Choi. I have never read Mary H.K. Choi, but I am definitely excited about this one. This cover, I know, cheesy, stunning. If you look at it without the dust jacket, it has the silhouette of one of the sisters. Stunning. But then every single spine has the touching hands because the sisters are both there. Mary H.K. Choi, or whoever designed this, she must have approved this. Job well done. She's never gonna watch this. Job well done. In this one, we follow Jane and June, who are sisters, and they are literally polar opposites of each other. And where once they were super tight and they loved each other very much, once they moved to Seoul, to San Antonio, to now New York, they have grown estranged with each other. And the one thing that is gonna bring them together, sadly, is the fact that one of the sisters gets cancer, and the only one is the only one that can help her. And it just sounds like a super heartbreaking story, if I'm being honest, and I can't wait to read this. I have been been itching, as weird as it sounds, I have been itching for a book that'll make me sob. And I know a bunch of my Patreons recently buddy read this and they all cried and they all had a great time, all rated it 5 stars. In fact, one of my Patreons, Kalia, thank you so much, she is the one that gifted this to me, and I just hope that this fulfills my monthly prompt of tears, because I really want to cry in a book. I've been itching for it because I've been crying but not sobbing. So this is the next one that I am reading. Following that, I am also reading It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. I have read, I think, 3 Colleen Hoover books in the past. 2 of them were complete hits for me. I'm really excited about this because one of my Patreons who read this and loved it also said this was a romance with a doctor. It's gonna sound so dumb, but like ever since I watched Grey's Anatomy, I'm like, oh my god, a romance with a doctor. I feel like this is the type of romance that I've been yearning for. I don't know anything else about this. This says, sometimes the one who loves you is the one who hurts you the most. Off to a great start. Make me cry, Colleen Hoover. Oh my god, when she feels a spark with a gorgeous neurosurgeon, okay, Derek Shepherd, named Ryle Kincaid, we'll ignore that part. Everything in Lily's life suddenly seems almost too good to be true. Ryle is assertive, stubborn, maybe even a little bit arrogant. He's also sensitive, brilliant, and has a total soft spot for Lily. But Ryle's complete aversion to relationships is disturbing. As questions about her new relationship overwhelm her, so do thoughts of Atlas Corrigan, her first love and a link to the past she left behind. He was her kindred spirit, her protector. When Atlas suddenly reappears, everything Lily has built with Ryle is threatened. I think I'm really gonna enjoy this. And I also, here's the thing about Colleen Hoover. The books that I've really enjoyed, I have bawled my eyes out for like hours on end, like tissues on face, let me just wash my face, drink some water because I am choking on my tears type of thing. Maybe this will be the next one. This month I am also reading Starsight by Brandon Sanderson. And last month we read Skyward as one of our book club picks, and I adored it. I am a sci-fi fan now, by the looks of it, take that very lightly, but I enjoyed Skyward so much that I just have to read Skyward. I don't have the copy right now, it is on its way to me, and in this one we follow Spensa, and her father was a super renowned pilot. Everybody loved her father up until he apparently committed treason and became a coward, as they call him. And Spensa has been shunned from society. Everybody looks down on her because of her father's actions in one of the biggest battles in their society's history, but Spensa will literally do anything to get into flight school and become a pilot as great as her father was. I don't know how to tell you guys to read Skyward if you haven't. Every time I think about Skyward, I get chills. I finished Skyward and I literally just stared at nothing for like a good minute, so I can't wait to go into Starsight. I hope it's equally as good, if not better than Skyward. I am also reading The Box in the Woods by Maureen Johnson, which I am so excited about. I am going to be a part of the Bookstagram tour. It is one of my most anticipated releases of this year. This is a continuation to Truly Devious. However, it doesn't follow the main plot line as the main trilogy, so this does have a completely different plot that again has no relation to the first 3 books. Now in this one, from what I remember from the synopsis, Stevie will go to a summer camp as one of the camp counselors alongside some of her best friends, which we do get to see in the original trilogy. And in this camp there is a cold case, a mystery that was never solved, about a serial murder that has something to do with dolls, so it does feel a little bit creepy because now this person has made a reappearance, I believe. I don't know why this is giving me Jason Voorhees type of vibes because of like the camp setting. I don't know if it'll be slasher. I don't know if it'll be more thrilling than just slasher. I've got no idea. As long as I get to be with Stevie and Nate and all of the crew again, we're not gonna talk about David, I'm gonna be happy. And last but not least, I did tell you this was the month of sequels or just books in series, and this is Vicious Spirits by Kat Cho. I wanted to read this during my 48-hour readathon, didn't get around to it unfortunately, but I will get around to it most definitely in the month of June. I loved Wicked Fox, one of my favorite books of all time now. I have the confidence to say that. It was really, really good. And so in this one, it is kind of like a sequel slash companion novel because we don't follow the same main characters. In fact, we follow some of the side characters, Juno and Somin, and Juno is again, I don't know how to pronounce this. He's a dokaibi, a Korean goblin, and Somin is just a regular human. And I think this will be a little bit more romance-centric than the last one based on the synopsis itself. I really don't know though, because Juno, according to the synopsis, is wondering if Somin could love him as much as he'd be willing to give to her, for her, and I just loved their dynamic in book 1. Their banter was incredible. That first kind of meet cute moment, or that first meeting, literally glowed through the page in terms of chemistry. So I can't wait to see what this book will bring, and to see if the conflict will be settled in this one, or if it will still go on in a few more books, because I genuinely don't know if this is meant to be a duology or if this is meant to be like a full-blown series. I guess we shall see and find out, but I am really excited about this one as well. So yeah, you guys, those are all of the books that I plan to read in the month of June. Again, will I read all of them? We shall see. Will I mood read at some point? Probably yes. This also doesn't include TBRs for readathons and stuff, because I do keep those separate. I do talk about those TBRs in videos because I just picked them the day of. So again, that doesn't even include that. We shall see how I bear. We shall see how I do, because I do have hope that I maybe will read all of these, because I genuinely am excited about all of them. We're just here for a good time, you guys. We're here for a good time. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and comment down below what you're planning on reading on June. If you've read any of these books, also let me know down below, because I am always looking to see if you guys have enjoyed the same books that I am reading, or again, what you guys are reading. I am always looking at the comments, replying to the comments. Just love chatting with you guys, so let me know all of that down in the comments. If you reach the end of the video, oh my god, I know, it's gonna be a fun one. Let's leave some egg emojis down below in honor of Yolk, because we've never done an egg emoji. That's actually really fun. Is there like a fried egg emoji? If there's a fried egg emoji, let's do that one. Don't forget to subscribe down below for more bookish content. Again, I am constantly uploading videos that I'm sure you don't want to miss. Let's just ignore that alarm, but I also live stream every few Fridays doing reading sprints if you do want to join us, and if you want more exclusive content, early access to videos, a Discord server, book clubs, buddy reads, exclusive live streams, or honestly everything in between, you can join us on Patreon. We call ourselves the Citadel. The link for that is down below, as well as all of the links to my social media. Thank you again to Book of the Month for sponsoring today's video. Don't forget that you can use the code MELAREADS to get your first book for $9.99 if you don't sign up in June. I don't know when you will. This is literally one of the best months for Book of the Month, so the link for that is also down below if you do want to join. And yes, I love you guys so much, and I shall see you on the next one. Bye guys.